Howdy, howdy, doody doo.
Cheers.
Cheersy, cheersy, cheers to the max.
Oh, hey, oh, cheers.
Hey, yo, cheers. Welcome to the rodeo.
So, we got stream number 2. We're kind of knocking them out here, homie.
Yes, and we're doing a stream tomorrow morning and
Oh,
tomorrow
yeah,
night.
and tomorrow night. I'm ready. I also,
Woo!
so I got some food, but I'm actually so what we're going to do, I'm going to just be transparent with you guys. I was going to make that margarita shredded chicken, but we just found out our favorite, taco spot is closing after this weekend for good. So they're having Thursday night and Friday night takeout only. So we're going to get takeout both nights. So I'm going to be straight up with you guys. I'm warning you now. I'm going to pretend like the food that I have in the kitchen is what I made. I didn't make it. I'm just going to tell you guys that now. I'm not going to say that I made it tomorrow, but I'm going to make it look like I made it. I'm going to pull it out of the Geek Chef air fryer. I'm going to be like, oh, look at this delicious meal. It's going to be kind of obvious, almost like satire.
I didn't make, but I'm pretending that I made it right now. That's what Mike's is about to do.
You're ridiculous. I feel like it's going to be obvious that I didn't make it. It's literally going to be out of the plastic bag and stuff out of the Geek Chef. So it'll be pretty obvious I didn't make it.
It should be a joke. I'll make the margaritas in hand, or margaritas. I think I'm just going to juice some limes and stuff and see how it goes. I'm thinking about testing the juicer tomorrow. I got the celery. I got some cucumber. I don't know. I think I have a lime. I don't know. Can you juice a lime?
You could. Totally. And what? Oh, so that makes me think that I'm gonna send you some juicing recipes. All right, I'm gonna send you.
Look up. Let's see if we can Google a margarita juice recipe for Cinco de Mayo.
And we won't make it protein. I was trying to think a protein smoothie, like you said.
No,
I think that's gross.
That's disgusting.
What we can
We're not making a protein margarita tomorrow, Mike.
What I'm thinking about is getting key lime flavored protein powder. What do you think?
No. We're good.
You don't like key lime pie kind of flavor?
That has nothing to do with Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, but I feel like lime,
key
lime.
No.
Maybe we could. Maybe I'll make a Jello.
No.
Or I don't know. I'm gonna get back to you. We'll figure it out.
That has nothing to do with Mexican culture.
I'm what can be delicious and snacky be? I don't know. I'm trying. No. I'm trying here.
He's reaching. He's trying to make some type of protein based shake that is. Coherent with Cinco de Mayo. I was like, no, that doesn't work. Ooh, excuse me. That just came out of nowhere. Guys, how are we doing out here? Thank you for joining us here on our live podcast every Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on Amazon. So, guys, hope all is well. Hope everyone is having a great week. We are going to touch base on family stuff today. We got Mother's Day. We got a whole bunch of stuff lined up here for you guys. So we're super, super excited for that. Mike wants to ask me some questions regarding Mother's Day. If I'm not
all the questions. I do. I got all the questions. And this is also not only for you, but for the moms out there, just because I know you obviously the best.
All the moms.
I want to, kind of tailor them around you.
Your volume just jumped up so much. You might need to lower your volume a little bit.
Hold on. Let me go this way. I think that might be the wrong way. Is that better?
Oh, that's louder. Lower.
Lower this way. Ooh, that should be better.
There you go. Better.
I got excited. I'm just hitting stuff, knocking things over.
You might have to lower your input.
I'm going to go into my settings.
Oof. Yeah.
How about from here? Is that better for now?
No. Fix it. I'm like, no, please fix it. Help me. Guys, tonight is more focused when we have our podcast about talking, the interview, the conversation with you guys. We do highlight products as well as we go through the podcast episodes. Will be highlighting different things. Everything you see here in the episode is also in the carousel, from the mic that I'm using to the laptop, to the lights, to the cameras. We have all the equipment in the carousel below. So we want you guys to check that out. This is not a sponsored live whatsoever. So just, you guys know, this is just us talking, chopping it up, and going through some products. But yes.
Yeah, products.
Products in the house. Let's see.
Here's that. I don't think that's going to do anything.
You should just go to your input on your computer. That's all.
I'm going right now.
Ooh, someone's making chow mein on live. What?
Okay.
I'm like, okay.
Right? What's up with that?
Ooh, Tower, my client is live.
Everybody's live. We having a party.
They are having a party time, everyone. Let's see how we sound. Oh,
Does it sound okay?
you're so loud.
Hold on. Oh yeah, it sounds like horrible.
Yeah, it sounds like you're yelling.
Mm. I can just hear the feedback playing.
Yeah, well, I'm playing it on my live so that I can see how it sounds.
I can hear. All right, boom.
Guys, let us know. Check. Mic check 1 2.
Let me turn this off. And then, how about that? Ooh. How about that?
Oh no, Mike, you made it louder.
Now should it be lower now? But it still sounds horrible, I think.
Yeah, you should be okay now.
All right, cool. Checking it. Check.
Checkity check, and the Chinese chicken have a drumstick, and your brain starts clicking.
Clicking.
Let's see.
Ooh, I gotta add. I'm gonna add a couple things. So here, while I'm doing this, let me ask you some.
What are you adding?
I'm gonna add a couple of new stuff I got from Thrasio. Some new Thrasio stuff.
Okay, go for it. Yeah, like I said, guys, we have a bunch of products down below. We got. So check them out. Any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to ask us. Really love hearing from you guys. Again, we're going to be talking about some great Mother's Day stuff and family stuff, boundaries, you know it all, because we have all the issues here.
Not even issues. We have just opportunities to learn and grow.
Okay, sure. That's one way to.
See what I did there?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So here's one thing I want to just give a shout out, not even a shout out, just plug again, guys. Every single podcast or every single stream now, I'm going $1 for follow. So every time we have a new follower on Gina's stream or my stream, it adds $1. Right now we're at $1. We're always going to start at $1. Every single new follower during the stream, we add $1 to that. Anyone can participate. Just comment giveaway. You don't have to be following, but by following, you drive up the value of the gift card, and it's going to be an Amazon gift card. Again, if we have 1,000 followers in here, I'll do $1,000 gift card to the winner. I am down to throw down some cash here, y'all.
Michael just wants to blow his money. Give me $1,000 if you like. I'll gladly.
Well, here's the thing. It's about the ROI. Which actually is a good ROI. We could get some ROI here.
Mike's like, I don't know if you're worth $1,000.
I would totally say that just from like marketing. We could do some marketing.
Marketing. We're gonna do some marketing in here.
Oh yeah. So wait. So all right. So I have questions for you, G. I got all the questions.
Okay. So go ahead, hit me with some questions, and then we'll just go into a little bit of everything.
All right. So my question is, and this is for like, first off, all the moms out there, and I think that everyone can probably. What? Happy early
Mother's Day.
Yes. So I do want to hear about your plans, but that'll be a later question just for funsies.
Mm-hmm.
What I want to know is, and I was kind of alluding to this question before, like, you're one and done, right? With Logan. Yes. So I'm wondering, prior to having Logan, prior to getting pregnant, what were your expectations of not only pregnancy, because we kind of talked about that in the past, but just like being a mom in general? How might have things changed and shifted from your expectations versus the reality with where things are at right now? Good, bad, indifferent, no judgment. I'm just curious, expectations versus reality.
I think I kind of like, let me see. Hold on. Let me lay you on first.
Ooh. Sleep. Ooh. I imagine that's one.
Yeah, right. The amount of no sleep. Like, don't get me wrong. Everyone knows when you're a parent, it's not going to be easy, right? But to the extent they don't tell you of how stressful and how it really pushes you to your limits on your patience, your bandwidth, your relationship, your health, all the above. Like, being a parent is not just all sunshine and rainbows. You love your child. You will kill someone for them. You will give your left arm for them. Do not get me wrong. Or take, I'm don't let me say that like I don't love being a parent, but it is exhausting. It is mentally draining. It is not sunshine and rainbows. The things as a woman, I mean, of course, for a dad too, you're still losing sleep. It's still stressful. It's still mentally draining. But as far as like the hormone aspect too, what I didn't expect or realize what was going to happen to my body afterwards, mentally, physically, and all the above, I think that was a huge eye opener and did not meet my expectations at all. Because, like, don't get me wrong, I knew there was such things as postpartum anxiety, but there's a thing called postpartum rage, postpartum hair loss, postpartum anxiety. There's sundown syndrome. You know, most people who don't know what sundown syndrome is, that
elaborate. I don't know that, but I could speculate from the name.
Well, it's something where it branches off from postpartum anxiety, but it's literally when you get triggered by the sun going down. So like I could be fine all day long. I feel okay. I'm good. I'm in a safe place. My anxiety is not freaking out or going on 1,000. But here comes nighttime. Here comes the sun setting. Here comes the nighttime, and every fear and every horrible thought and every feeling of anxiety that you can have, and I used to just start crying when the sun was setting. Like when it was nighttime, I would just start crying and bawling to Josh. And he's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "I don't know. I have this unruling fear inside of me right now that something bad is going to happen. I don't know what the night is going to expect." And it'd be like clockwork, like right around dinner time, right when the sun was setting and I knew the nighttime was coming. It was just an unruling sense of fear took over, and you start crying. And they call it, like, sometimes there's baby blues where it's not fully postpartum depression, but you know, you're feeling like, like very like down and out. But this was an overwhelming, I never felt fear in my life. Like I thought either me or Logan were going to die every night. Like that's sundown syndrome. They also call sundown syndrome too with also people who have dementia and Alzheimer's, where they start like getting violent with the sun going down. They start freaking out. It's almost the same thing, but not. But the sun starts triggering them to like not knowing what's going on.
And they're confused because think about it, like, anyways.
That's exactly. They get confused. They get lost. They don't know what time of the day it is. So it's like a thing when you're a mom that all of a sudden like sun starts going down and you feel like the most worst anxiety of your life. Like, is your baby going to make it through the night? Am I going to make it through the night? You know, am I going to wake up and she's not breathing? You know, is she even going to sleep through the night? Am I going to get any sleep? Are you going to get any sleep? How is this night going to go? So that was
stuff to do tomorrow.
Yeah, no, that was, and I remember, I think I was a month postpartum, not even, I think it might have even been 2 weeks that I had a client that I needed to film for. So I was hopping around.
2 weeks?
2 weeks, after I gave birth. I have a client that I had to do a photo shoot for. Like I didn't have a choice. But we did it from home. So we were luckily and thankful enough we were able to do it from home. But Josh is now doing like a 6-hour photo shoot in the house. I'm trying to help him. One of us needs to sleep. Someone needs to be with the baby. My mom came over to be with the baby. So now neither of us are getting sleep. Both of us are fucking exhausted. And who can be up with the baby? Who can't? Who's tired? It was a lot. So I guess to bring it all home is just that you can never be able to be prepared to have a kid, or your expectations are just not what you think they are.
Dude, so first off, I appreciate the transparency there. And sorry, I was watching Brene Brown, a Call to Courage last night. It's a documentary on Netflix, and it talks about like how like vulnerability is the most like courageous thing that we can do, being vulnerable, being open, things like that. So anyways, I like to like point it out where I see it. I'm curious if you feel that way. And then Jerry, thanks for the follow. So
thank you, Jerry.
That adds $1 to the giveaway race that we have at some point going down on the stream. We're not going to tell you when, so you're going to want to hang out because it could be going down at any moment. So again, here's what I'm going to do too. And I'm like, just to give you guys a heads up, when you follow, I'm automatically going to put you in the race. Unless you just say, hey, Mike, I don't want to, but automatically get entered into it. And this will be my like plug moment right now. Again, set a goal impacting 25,000 lives. So you guys can go to lifestyleoffitness.com right here, fill out our body type quiz. And in the next 2 months, every person that fills out that quiz, I'm going to give you guys free access to our $1,500 nutrition and health course. We're going to start charging for that again starting in July. So take advantage of it, get free access now, because otherwise it's going to be at least $1,000 a month starting in July. Just a heads up. Anyways, now let's bring it home. Let's go back. If you don't mind me digging deeper here, can I dig deeper?
No, obviously. Go ahead. Yes, go for it.
So here's the other thing. I wonder, like, just like at what point does like, because like, so here's the thing. This is what I think is so crazy. Because like, obviously, guys, yeah, I'm a parent. I didn't grow Lena or Tessa inside of me. You grew Logan, another human being inside of you. And I know we've like talked about this, but like that's such a mind-blowing reality to me. So I wonder, like, not only the hormones, just like the mental, like the thought process of like how you see her. Like, because I see my children, obviously, and they're a part of me, but like to you and to Ashley and to the moms out there, they're like literally a part of you, like quite literally inside of you, a part of you.
I mean, I guess if I think about it, like you just look at it as another stage in your life that you created something, and that sometimes I don't even remember the feeling of birth or you know, that kind of sensation, because like it was all a blur to me. Like if I don't, like I was so like hormones on another level, my anxiety, no sleep. I feel like the newborn stage and the whole birthing experience and that, and feeling like she's a part of me, I almost like don't remember. I feel like it wasn't real. I feel like it, I know that sounds weird to say, but I look at pictures and I feel like I don't remember this. I feel like it wasn't real. This didn't happen. And I almost want to relive it. And that's like the only part of me that wants to have another child so I could be fully coherent. And now I know what to expect. So now I could feel like I could go into this head first and know what to expect. The first time, you have no idea what to expect. I was crying leaving the hospital because I was so scared to leave that hospital. That's how bad my anxiety was. It didn't feel real. This didn't feel like she was mine. I'm now responsible for another life that took over. So, and I did not want to leave that hospital. I was crying when Josh got the car. I was crying when we got in the car. I didn't want to go home. You know, like it's just that. So like looking at her and being like, this is a part of me, it sometimes just feels surreal, like in the sense of like, oh, she's just, at this point now, it just feels like she's my child, you know, but when I look back to be like, oh, wow, she came out of me, she grew inside of me. The whole pregnancy, I was anxious the whole time. One, because, you know, Aunt Kim and her situation with losing a child during pregnancy. I had a family member who lost a baby during pregnancy. And I was scared of that. I was scared of like the umbilical cord thing. I was scared of like anything. I was high blood pressure. My anxiety was just on 1,000 through the pregnancy too. So my mental state during the pregnancy was just really hard. Yeah. And I think people expect pregnancy to be beautiful, sunshine and rainbows. Mm-hmm. You're worried about there's something inside you that you can't see and you have no idea what's going on. So if I don't feel a kick every like 2 hours, I would freak out. Like,
and then you're trying to sleep though, but then I imagine that, and because you kind of alluded to
I wouldn't go to sleep until I felt a kick.
Exactly. But then if it's every 2 hours, it keeps you up, or it could potentially, I wonder.
Once I was asleep, I was pretty okay, but then I kept waking up to pee. I was hot. Okay, right. I was discomfort.
Uncomfortable.
You can't sleep on your back. I kept somehow ending up on my back, and then I couldn't breathe. And then like, cause she pushes on you. And that's supposedly not good for the baby. So now if I wake up on my back, I'm freaking out. And then I wake up, I'm like, and I'm poking her. I'm like, you all right in there? We're okay? Are we good? I would wake her up. Like, even if she was sleeping, or like, cause you know, obviously babies sleep inside you. If I didn't feel a kick every so often, I'd wake her up. I'd be like, hey, how we doing in there? I'd poke myself to just be like, not hard, obviously, but I'd poke myself to like, make sure I felt her, and I would not go to sleep at all. And I think to myself as I'm lying there trying to go, I was like, wait, did I feel a kick in the last like 30 minutes? Hi, you all right? Hey, whoa.
Let's get like, what's going on?
Yeah. And the crazy part is she was born with the umbilical cord wrapped around her neck. So
yeah, stress, dude.
Yeah, Josh didn't even get to cut the cord because they took her right from us. And It's like, hold up. So I'm like in my head now, I'm like, how long did she have the umbilical cord around her neck?
And then the brain starts going, right?
Yeah.
Like now you're starting to really trying to process, like, all right, what does that mean? What's going to happen? And trying to anticipate.
If that would have like, if I would have been in labor, how much longer, or she would have been inside me that much longer, like my pregnancy last, would she have died because the cord was wrapped around her neck? And how did no one pick this up?
Right.
Like they did sonograms, they did everything. So how did no one know that there was an umbilical cord wrapped around my child's neck? But that's here or there, whatever. I can't control that. But
right.
I was also in labor for almost 32 hours.
Exhausting. I just watching Ashley go through it. I don't obviously haven't had the experience, but it's exhausting.
And then they don't feed you. You're not allowed to eat the entire time in the hospital. You could barely sleep, but then they want you to push the biggest watermelon-sized child out of something the size of a lemon. Okay. And then do it on 0 sleep, no food, no water, and then be like, hey, here's a newborn. Here you go. Welcome to more no sleep. Like I don't understand. Like they should let you eat. I'm sorry. Like, I mean, if you got to go into surgery, what's going to happen? Like, what's the worst that's going to happen during a C-section? Like if you eat.
I mean, I would speculate they're cutting you open and having your body digesting and having things moving around when they're taking your organs and your intestines and things out of your body and putting it on a tray. Like if you don't want those things having to function and work, you don't want to take more blood flow into those areas. I don't know if that's true. That's what I speculate off the top of my head, knowing the human body. But to your point, you also need energy and calories. But the good thing is, guess what? We have over like 3,000 extra calories of glycogen stored in our body, which is like backup reserves
how hungry I was. You don't understand. About 6 hours in, I was begging Josh for a Cheez-It because he was eating, and I'm like, "You motherless."
I've been there. I ate Moe's burrito in front of Ash. I ate the home wrecker burrito. I know the exact thing that I got. It was so good.
Josh went downstairs to go like to the hospital like cafe, whatever, and got himself a Caesar salad. But I packed him snacks just in case, like Chewy bars.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, there's some goldfish and Cheez-Its in the suitcase. Give me now. He's like, they told me no. I'm like, give me a Cheez-It. And then he just threw one at me. He's like, you can have one. I'm like, you piece of shit.
Like, this isn't doing anything.
I'm like, no, give me more. And then I kept begging the nurses for like, because then they allowed me Jello or broth. Like I wasn't sure what they were allowing me. I'm like, keep bringing me Jello. I'm starving. Like,
I need it.
But yes, so go hit with another question, Mike. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that was an important one. So now I kind of want to like flip the script slightly because like here's the other thing on the flip side of things, and going back to maybe expectations versus reality is like I wonder your experience of love and how that might have changed, if it has at all. Maybe it hasn't. Like I wonder, because I'm going to assume there's maybe not only a different perspective, but a different like amount that you have. Like you said, you would give your life for your child. You give your like left arm for your child. Like from my experience of it, like like I love Ashley a certain way, but like not the same way I love our kids, right? It's a different, and I don't love our kids obviously the same way I love Ashley. It's a different type of love. So at least from my experience, I can't say. So I'm curious for you, what was that like? Not only from birth, but like till now. And then I just want to pause because that is the question, but I wanted to bring back something because you touched on something before and I just realized it because I took notes on this. Is the notion of like you kind of forgot what it was like, right? You forgot the pregnancy. That's actually a real thing that our body goes through. Like I don't remember the book, but I actually read this in a book when we were preparing for having Lena and like understanding what's happening to the human body, the female body, also what I can expect, all that fun stuff. And they talk about how it's like an actual like biological evolutionary trick to like basically hit you with a bunch of these love chemicals, hit you with like all of this that makes you fall in love with the baby and have that bond. And then you forget how miserable and painful and horrible the experience was. So you'll be able to do it again. Isn't that crazy?
No, I've heard that before. And I've heard someone say like, oh, you just forget, you this and that. Trust me, I don't forget about the pain. Oh, excuse me. I don't forget about the pain. It's just when I look back at certain things, I'm like, oh my God, it doesn't feel surreal almost. Like I feel like I missed out on enjoying even the newborn stage because I had so much anxiety and I had so much new stuff going on with me that I didn't understand. And I felt like it almost took away from me enjoying moments with Logan and that whole blissful quote unquote experience. That's why sometimes I wish I could just clone Logan and do it all over again with the knowledge and understanding of what needs to be done. So I'm mentally okay. So my husband's mentally okay. So the baby is okay.
That's intense.
You know, I wish I knew. Again, if I had another kid, not every kid is the same. So I can't even say, yeah, it'll be same for number 2. But it's just crazy to think like all the hormones and the love, back to the love thing, is that it is, of course, it's different. The love that you have for your child opposed to your partner, you know, it's a love of protection almost, which I want to protect Josh too. Don't get me wrong. Like 100%, like I'm very protective of Josh, but
sure.
There's ones where like, you know, you feel this rage when someone's hurting your child. Like there's a love and a sense of like, and though I probably feel the same rage, honestly, if someone was hurting Josh, to be honest with you, like I get very defensive over him as well. But there's just something different for a love for a child where you don't want to hear anything. You don't want to know anything. You don't want to whatever. And it even I see it with Josh too, like in not in a bad sense or anything. But if I try to tell Josh something about justice, and it can be the most innocent thing, like, oh, I think, you know, we got to tell Justice to make sure he throws his plate out or something. In the beginning, he would turn around and just be like, well, you're an adult and you don't even do it. Like, I'm like, hold on. First off, I'm not attacking him. I'm not saying anything bad about him. I'm just saying, can we ask him to do X and Y and Z? Or can we ask him to make the bed? I think that was like one of our biggest arguments when we first started dating, is that I was very like a stiffler, and I know I was in the beginning about certain things. And I think it was just me trying to be in control of the situation, which I'm still a stiffler about certain things now, but like even just telling him, why can't he make the bed before he leaves? You know, and he's like, well, we don't make the bed every morning. We don't do this. I'm like, that's not the point. He's a child and we're trying to set ground rules of, you know, and establish certain things.
Yeah.
So, you know, but he gets very defensive, even to this day sometimes when I just say like, hey, you know, we're missing a bunch of forks. I think Justice is throwing them out by accident. Can you just tell him to be careful? I'm like, relax, dude.
Like,
wasn't that? But it's just the love for a child is so different than your partner. It is.
So yeah. So now I'm curious. I want to ask, like, digging more into not only like the present and your experience, but now in the future, like looking ahead, how might have having a child, if it has at all, shifted what you want for your life, shifted what your priorities are, or shifted like how you want to structure your life, like how the day-to-day looks, like all those kinds of things?
It definitely takes a toll, first off and foremost, because me and my husband try to balance this all the time. And my business started picking up a little bit, especially with Amazon, right when Logan was born. That's when I started doing the Amazon stuff and everything. So now that I'm working more hours and he is like still working a lot of hours, but our pay grade was different and everything like that. So I had told him, like, in order for me to keep paying the bills the way we are, we got to figure out a structure. I need to work a 9 to 5, and you don't technically need to be working during the day. You can work whatever hours. So that was a constant fight and struggle. And for me, I thought it was going to be a lot more flexibility where I could be with a baby all day and then like work a few hours here and there, you know. Possibly Josh was going to be doing more than 9 to 5. That's what I expected at first, but you know, it didn't pan out that way. We got to make it work. You know, I always wanted to still have a free life. When I say a free life, in the sense of, you know, I would still want to, like, you know, go out to, you know, a nightclub here or there, you know, and stuff like that. Not that I can't, not that Josh won't let me, but now it just doesn't seem feasible. It doesn't seem like, not even feasible. I don't know how to explain it. You feel awkward a little bit being there. Not even awkward.
Okay. I get what you're saying.
Like, it's like, all right, I'm 32 years old. I'm going to be 32 years old with all these like 15, 16 or however, no, maybe not that young, but like 21-year-olds.
Yeah.
hanging around, and then I'm gonna drink. If I drink a little bit, I'm gonna feel like crap the next day. I gotta be with my daughter the next day. You're gonna feel like doo doo. Like, why did I even do this to myself? But you want to feel relevant. I think that's you want to feel relevant in society. Like society hasn't forgotten about you or brushed you off and then left you behind. And I think that's a big, big thing. Or at least for me, that's how I feel. Like I look at my life before a child, and I worked in the music industry. I worked at big events. I was a part of big, big, big things. And then when you have a kid, that all kind of halts and you feel like they keep going. So all those people keep going and keep moving and keep going, and you're kind of stuck behind. And your expectations are, I'm going to keep going, I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to keep going. But that doesn't happen. And you feel almost FOMO, if you will, fear of missing out at certain moments. And sometimes I see pictures of me out from when I was maybe 25, and it's like, okay, I want to do this again. I want to go out again. I want to party a little bit. But then you're like, do I really need to do that? I could be at home with my child. So it's like a catch-22, but the fear of missing out is real, and I feel like you're being left behind is very real.
So one of the things that I heard, and I'm going to tell me if I might miss the mark on this, is this like idea of whether it's value or validation brought to you from like this presence you bring into the world, especially in the workplace, especially as an entrepreneur that you are, that I am, that Ashley is, like that type dynamic. I'm just talking into our personal circle. And then having some of that validation kind of removed, right? Like not feeling that on a day-to-day, week-to-week, whatever. And when you enjoy it too, because that was one thing I got from Ashley. And even I feel like I hear this as a common theme, is the idea of like, let's say one partner goes back to work, the other one doesn't, or even not going back into, especially during COVID when you had like this is the most interesting time to have a child, right? Or one of the most interesting times to have a child. Like obviously world wars are a crazy time to have children too, or like all that kind of fun stuff, but like it's all unique. And the point being is like the social dynamic, right? And then like having the support group. And in the first 3 or 6 months, I'm trying to get the exact timeline down of like, even dude, I remember one of the first TikTok videos you had that like blew up was like Anthony dropping off food at your house.
Yes.
Right. Like things like that, like little things like that is like a weird and it's stressful on top of the normal stress. So I kind of like just is that right? Like, is that basically like, am I hearing you right?
It definitely is. It's also feeling important outside of being a mom. You want to feel like you're more than a mom, that you're also that you're not
you didn't
being
lose your identity.
That too. Yeah. 100%. Like, I'm a mom. I'm, this person who still wants to enjoy life, even moments with my child and then more moments without my child. I want to be able to turn around and not feel guilty for wanting to do something outside of being a mom. Also, at the same time, want to still feel like you're, again, not being left behind in the world where, you're still relevant. You're still making a difference. You're still making your mark. You're still feeling important. So, and that happens to a lot of moms where they just like feel like, all right, well, my sole purpose now is to be a stay-at-home mom.
Right. And this is what I do. And there's not anything.
No, there's nothing wrong.
Wrong with that.
Your sole purpose is to be a stay-at-home mom.
Right. Their own. I don't mean any shade with that.
But you are still a human first and a person first.
Oh no.
What happened?
But I thought I meant to hit the promo code and I thought I just ended the stream. I was like, oh no, sorry. So good news is we have the promo code now, but hopefully the stream didn't end.
I think you're still there. I'm not quite sure.
It's all good. I'm not here. We're on yours, so that's what matters.
Oh, let's see. Now you got me curious to see if.
Right? Did it go down? We're still here.
Yeah, I think you're still alive. You're good.
We're here, but so kind of like you said, not losing that identity. So I pose all these questions and I want to regurgitate all this and now frame it to you. Like, so knowing all that, what do you do? Like what can you control? And then what is your plan of attack? If you even have one. I don't mean this to put you on the spot. I'm just, now this is like my coaching problem solving brain kicking in. Like I'm just genuinely curious. Cause like I go through it from my own perspective as a dad and that unique perspective. In my own angle, but like, what do you do? Like, what has worked for you? Like, cause I think by sharing this with other potential parents or to be parents. And what's up, Mish? Hey, Mish, you trying to get in on this giveaway, by the way? What's up? Anyways, so yeah, what do you think about that? What do you do? How does this impact what you even do moving forward? Share with the to-be moms out there that may don't have this even experience yet.
Here's the thing. I think for me to feel relevant and to feel like my own is one, my business and being in control of that and helping
Mhm.
other people, like getting the gigs for you guys makes me feel super important and relevant. Working with people of big stature makes you always feel like you're doing something well. And I also feel like it's doing things that make you feel successful. So whether it's your business, you get a big client, like even volunteering for Pride, like to me, that's validating.
Ooh.
Like I'm part of something bigger. Like being volunteering NYC Pride and being a part of the committee is a pretty big deal. It's one of the largest events held in the city in New
Yeah,
York
think of how
City.
many people show up for that.
So yeah, and it's only going to get bigger. So to say I've been a part in volunteering for 5 years, that's something I genuinely want to do and love to do. And that was actually taken from me when I was pregnant, in COVID. I
Right.
couldn't do it. And then the year after Logan was first born and COVID was still full force, so I didn't feel comfortable marching
Doing
and
that.
taking the risk. Will be the
Right.
first year that I'm volunteering again since then, so that's like a big step. And even being able, I know it's going to sound stupid, being able to pick up the phone and call someone and say, "Hey, I want to get into this nightclub tonight." Still having that
Ooh.
power, like something where you have control and feel like you're important enough still. Because I used to have that all the time. I used to call up like, "Yo, we're going here tonight. What I'm not
Yeah.
paying for ish, and this is what we're doing." Not saying I need the validation from like a guy to do that or anything like that. I'm talking about like just me having the
Just for you.
control. Yeah, so it's having the control and being in power of something that is for you, to
Mm.
have. And for moms out there, you got to find that thing that makes you feel still in control, feel like you're still in power, that you're more than just a mom. Um, whether it's going to yoga class or, doing something on the side or feeling complete and successful, like whatever it is for you. For me, it's like, I still love doing the events. I still love running and putting things together. I love being a part of something bigger where no one else can say they've been a part of it.
Hmm. That's so now. All right. So now I have a part B to that question of like some of those things you may or may not be able to control, right? Like what clients you have. Like obviously you can
Of
like do the
course.
best that you can. So I wonder like what do you have control over in your day to day, and how does that benefit with the mindset, like your mood, and like I'm throwing these questions out here, and I'm not saying you need to have all the answers because some of this maybe we don't have
Of course.
answers to. I'm just genuinely curious because like I'm like learning as I go, right? So like I'm curious to learn from your perspective and maybe people in the chat, like Misha, if you want to share your perspective, like whatever. But I think also knowing this can be helpful because think about it, like how much content did you watch and how much content did you consume while you were pregnant, thinking about getting pregnant, even now. So I think maybe I don't know. Do you think about this? Like people watch your stuff and they learn from it. Like they consume that information and they gain something from it. So I'm curious
I hope
what
so. I mean,
anyways, yeah.
I would hope so. Like, I would hope that they're learning from it, and it's just like, did I show you the video that just went viral on my
With
TikTok
the
about,
jockeys.
yes, about gentle parenting.
Yes, yeah. I didn't even
So
want to read all the comments though. It makes me mad. Or I try. I don't. Yeah.
the comments were ridiculous, first off. So like, for those of you who don't know, like my TikTok is a lot about mom stuff, gentle parenting, just my day to day being a working mom, all that just basically revolves around
It's
being
real
a mom.
life.
Yeah, it's just being mom life basically. um and I did a reaction to a video of a mom who does gentle parenting, right? And it's her kid screaming on the top of his lungs
Mhm.
at her, right?
Yeah.
And so gentle parenting, for those of you who may not know, is allowing a kid to express themselves and not yell at them for expressing themselves. So long story short, the mother takes a toy away from him and says, "Hey, it's time for bed." The kid starts screaming and steps back from the mom
Exhausting.
and starts crying. Like, it's a young kid. Of course, you take something away from a kid that they want, they don't know how to express themselves. Kids physically do not know have the regulation, and it's our job to teach them how to regulate those emotions, not beat them for it.
Right.
Um, So he's crying, screaming at the top of his lungs at the mom. The mom gets down on her knees and says, "Oh, I know it's super frustrating. I understand this is frustrating, you know, but I'm super sorry." And he screams again, and then he takes a deep breath, and she's like, "I'm here for you if you need me." And then he stops crying, goes over to her, and then just hugs her. So after screaming and screaming and screaming for a moment, yes, he's frustrated. That's the only way a baby knows how, and a little kid who can't speak knows how to express themselves when they're angry is to yell and scream and cry. There's a difference between a meltdown and a tantrum. This kid was obviously having a meltdown. This is how he didn't know how to express himself. And she let him get it out. You cried. He didn't hit her. He didn't like spit at her. He didn't throw something at her. He just screamed. He stopped. He breathed and then went over to hugging her. And I said, like, this is how you know gentle parenting is working, because he realized he was regulating. He got his emotions out. He cried and then went over and hugged his mother. So whatever. I broke that video down and my reaction. And the comments, guys, oh my God. Oh, I'll give that kid something to cry about. Let my kid cry in my face. Watch what happens. Oh, my family beat me and I was fine. Blah, blah, blah. But then it goes into like, but are you fine?
Right.
You
and it's like, do you want to just be fine? Like, what's fine?
Do you want to be fine or do you want to be better? Just because your parents beat you every time you cried, just because your kid cries and screams doesn't give you the right to beat them, hit them, or yell back at them. They're a baby. They're an infant. They're a toddler. You got to teach them how to regulate those emotions and handle it. And it says more things about you that you can't regulate your own emotions. You're getting frustrated that they're screaming, that you just hit them instead of working with them through the emotions. And hitting doesn't work. We still do what we want. The kid's still gonna act out. If not, they're gonna act out more. They'll still talk back. If anything, it just makes them fear you for certain things and they try to figure out how to hide and manipulate around you. I'd rather teach my kid how to regulate their emotions and figure it out. Hey, you're crying, you're having a tantrum. I'm gonna ignore it. If you need me, I'm here. Do you want me to, I literally say to Logan, do you want a hug? If she says no, and she just throws herself to the ground, I said, okay, I'll give you your space. And I walk away and let her have her tantrum. If she's having a meltdown. Meltdown is when they're really upset, where they really don't know what's going on and to handle them. I was reading the difference between tantrum is them being upset and stomping their feet because they didn't get a snack, Right. But if they're having a full-blown meltdown, that real loud scream and cry, like that really bad, where you could see the
body shaking, like
and like they're deep, like you can see something's really upsetting them. They're not knowing what to do with themselves. So that's when you're like, all right, let me really be here for them. Let me not beat them because they're expressing themselves. So, and then that blew up on TikTok. So it's almost at 500,000 views at this point. And it just keeps getting, more and more views in the comments. I'm responding back. It's engagement. It's helping me with the algorithm. So I don't care. Right. And I'm just like, sure, if you like beating your kids, that's fine with you. I don't know what to tell you, but you shouldn't be. It's abuse. Abuse is abuse. Whether you beat your kid, a smack on the butt, someone's like, oh, as long as you don't leave bruises, it's not abuse. I'm like, what?
Dude, so here's what this is actually someone that's going to come on the podcast. I'm going to give a shout out to Maddie. I won't say Maddie's last name, even though she doesn't care because she's willing to come on the podcast, but like she's social worker, has a psychology background. She like, me and her talk a lot about this kind of stuff. I share a lot of stuff with her, and she brought up this point. I want to say it was like last week or 2 weeks ago, where it's like, hey, if you are hitting your kid because you want to hit them in the moment and it's an emotional thing, you got to think about that. And then if you want, like, let's say, wait a half hour and you still want to spank your kid on the butt, or like you want to hit them and you're like calm as could be, maybe then, and not saying it's justified or verified, but that's like a different thing. And there maybe is something you're doing because that's maybe what like through life experience, like, hey, well, this is like, because it's not all like positive reinforcement all the time. Like, I'm not saying that what it is. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. But you're saying like sometimes maybe like a punishment punishment doesn't mean you have to like hurt them. Punishment is just like taking something away, or like there's a consequence.
Setting a boundary,
that action.
rule, setting like, hey, if you do X, you're gonna get Y. And if you continue to do it, because everyone's like, oh, it builds wussies. This is how they're weak. They'll walk all over you later on. And I did another video, which obviously didn't get as many views, or probably none of those people saw it. But
Right.
I broke down gentle pairing doesn't allow the kid to do whatever they want. And that's what everyone thought this was from the video.
Yeah, that's a
No,
big difference.
no, you just don't yell and scream and hit them in their face. You know, you just like,
Right.
okay, I'm going to tell you what this is going to be the outcome. You can either do X or Y, but you're not going to do this. And if you do this, X, Y, and Z is going to happen.
Exactly.
So, like
Now make
Logan,
a choice.
yeah. Now, if you do it, I'm going to remove you from the situation, or I'm going to put you here and you're going to get your toy taken away, or you're going to get your TV time taken away. It sets boundaries. It sets rules with communicating and letting them understand consequences for their actions instead of just beating the ish out of them for, disobeying. You're still teaching discipline. You're disciplining in another manner. Like, for example, Logan is now throwing, like, so when she's done with her food, she's starting to make a mess. And she's doing it on purpose.
Good. I know that stage.
So you can tell when she's about to do it too, because she's like kind of now poking at the food. It's coming. She's trying to lift the side of the bowl, whatever.
Yeah.
And I go to her, are you done? Use your words. Are you done? Because we don't throw food, right? And she's like, she either looks at you and starts swatting at the food to try to like play with it, or she'll say done or more. So, and then if she goes to swat at it, I said, excuse me, I told you you cannot throw your food, but what you can do is either be done or continue to eat. So what would you like to do? And she'll say sometimes more done. And if she really swats again, I give her 3 tries. If she then swats at it again, I said, that's it. Then I'm taking the plate away. And now I'm making the decision and you are done. Would you like
you lost your ability to vote by not participating.
Yes. Now I'm just taking the food away from you. You're done. And now you're going to clean up and you're going to get down out of the high chair. So, and that's it, you know, and sometimes she's too quick for me and she gets that bowl and just brings it across flings it across the room. And sometimes it's like super frustrating. You want to like give them a little pow pow, or you want to scream at them like, what the hell? Like, I literally told you no, but what does that solve?
Right. So, and one thing I've been like, and this is a different age because now Lena is obviously like talking and she's a little bit older. She's about to be 4. So there's different stages. So I can only speak to the stages I've been able to experience with both our kids. And at this stage, what I started to do very recently is asking her, like, what did you hear me say? So like, for a perfect example, today I had some business to take care of, came back. Actually, I ended up coming. I thought I was going to be out all day. I ended up having a window of time. So I came home. I was able to like support the kids and hang out and whatever and give Ashley kind of a break. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right, let's go outside. You want to go outside? Cool. I'm going to read a book. So if you want to come outside, here's the terms you're agreeing to. You go outside, you have to listen. If you don't listen, we're going to go inside. Daddy's going to bring you inside. Do you agree? She goes, yes. I'm like, all right, pause. And then she went to immediately run outside. She didn't hear anything I said. She just zoned me out, was just like shaking her head. I could see it in her eyes. I know what that looks like because I've done that before.
Yeah.
And I was like, what did you hear Daddy say? She goes, we go outside now. I'm like, no. Like, yes, but what are you agreeing to? And I try not to overcomplicate it. Because like, that's the other thing is it can go like over their head too. And she gets frustrated and she's like, I just want to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, hey, so you're going to listen, right? Are you agreeing to listen? Say, yes, I agree. And like, just taking a moment to like start to create that ability. And this is something I've learned even from this like emotional intelligence stuff, the cult conference, whatever you want to call it, is like the exercise of like stopping, breathing, thinking, and then making a choice. Like, not necessarily because I have so many autopilot things kicking in all the time and I'm still fighting it. Like when I yelled at the kids the other week, like that's my autopilot that's built in of like, I can feel the anger spelling. So anyways, I'm going on a little bit of a rant here, but
no, as you should, you're allowed.
Ranting here, but I like to, cause dude, I'm thoroughly enjoying asking you all these questions. How's it feel to be on the hot seat or whatever you want to call it?
I'm A-okay with it. You know what happened the other day at Aunt Kim's house when I went to go visit her this weekend? I got really upset and I really like was about to cry. So Logan's eating and she's about to do the bowl throw. So I'm watching her and she's eating pasta with her hand, whatever. And I go to her,
I
I take
like
it
it.
from her, and I said, "Hey, you cannot throw your food." This is now like the second time I said, "Hey, you cannot throw your food. We're not home." And again, like you said, you're not trying to make it too complicated. She's still not even 2 yet. So, but
Right.
I know she knows what she's not supposed, because sometimes she'll let you go, "No, no, no," or she'll do mess. She now points out her
Yeah,
messes.
she knows what's up.
Mess. So I look at her and I get close to her. I said, "Logan, no throwing your bowl. You could eat or be done, but we're not throwing our food." And she literally winds it back and goes for pow right to my face
Ooh.
with the butter filled hand, because she had pasta with butter.
Yeah.
And you heard the smack. You heard the smack. My mom heard it. She turned around, and like my mom didn't even say anything. And I go, like, my first reaction was to like jerk at her, like not to hit, but like to like grab her hand. And I said, "You don't hit. You don't hit. You don't hit. Like, you could be mad, you could be angry, but you don't hit mommy. You don't hit anyone." And now I'm getting really stern voice, and she kind of got like a little bit of a
Taking it
look.
back. Like,
And
oh shit.
then I go, "You don't hit." And I said it for a third time. She goes, and like laughs, like an
Ooh.
evil laugh at me. And I just had to like, I took her down, I wiped her down, put her down, and now I'm cleaning. I'm holding back tears. I'm really upset. Like, she literally open-handedly smacked me. I have butter mark on the side of my face. And
Yeah.
in those moments you're like, am I doing this right? Like, is the gentle parenting that I'm doing not working? Is it she's just taking advantage? She's smacking me in the face. She's not, or is it she's just a child and she's not understanding and she thinks it's a game? So it's
Right.
a 22. But I will say one thing I was very proud of, that when Logan fell down and cracked her tooth, guys, Logan fell on our tile and literally cracked her front 2 teeth. So she now looks like she has a
How
gap.
stressful was that when that was first happening? Even probably now.
Super
You
stressful,
know?
because she wouldn't stop crying. I wanted to make sure. First off,
Feel bad.
I was honestly more calm than Josh. Josh was crying. He was super
Yeah.
upset.
Yeah.
I said, "You need to walk." Like, well, I said, "Please don't cry in front of her." He's like, "Well, I'm holding back tears." I said, "Then you can walk away. I'll sit with her. Like, that's fine." I could tell he
Wait,
was,
why not cry?
because she was crying and
You
we
don't
were
want to
trying to.
freak her out, like make it
Yes,
worse.
I didn't want her to freak
Yeah.
out. So I was trying to
Yeah.
calm her
Yeah.
down, and she saw us crying, then I feel like she was going to start crying even more.
Right.
So
Okay.
she's starting to freak out. She's crying. I'm holding her. She comes to me. She's going between me and Josh. She's reaching for both of us. And then at one point, she's doing that slide down thing where she doesn't want to be held anymore. So I'm like, "All right." I put her down. Josh like holds her. I'm like, "No, she wants to get down for some reason." She gets down, goes in the corner, and starts like standing there. And she looked like she's fidgeting. And I go to him like, "Do you want to be held? Come here. You want mommy?" She goes, "No." And she's standing there, and she's like, looks like she's trying to regulate herself. And
Trying
it
to
looks like,
process.
yes. And she was like, literally like, I'm like, and then she's looking in the playpen where her stuff is, and she looks like she's pointing to the pillow and blanket. I'm like, "You want your pillow?" And she's like, kind of like shaking her head, yes. So I bring the pillow. I'm like, "Josh, hand me the blanket." I put it on the floor. She then lays herself down on the floor with the pillow, with the blanket, and goes like calming herself down. So now I go over to her, I sit next to her, and I'm rubbing her back while she's like, letting it. And then she, I don't know if it was because I was touching her back. She then gets up, takes her pillow and blanket, and moves away from me and lays down in another area. And then goes over to her ball pit, Josh throws the blanket and pillow in there. She goes into the ball pit and like lays in the ball pit for a good solid 3 minutes and doesn't want to be touched. So I like we let her be. And then all of a sudden we go over to her and she's not crying anymore. She kind of calmed herself down. And I go over, I'm like, "You okay?" And now she's laughing, she's giggling, she's fine, like nothing ever happened. So I think, I think she was regulating her own emotions. And to me, that kind of validates what we're doing with gentle parenting.
Yeah, that's huge, dude.
Works. For her to be 20 months old and able to handle, you're getting your 2 front teeth almost knocked out.
Just the pain of it, just like the
my
scariness, the fear, like, dude. So and I want to like, so that's huge. And I want to go back to what you said, but also I just want you to take a second, not to get too distracted, but can you just open up my stream and look at the person that followed me? Shout out to whoever you are. You have the craziest username I've ever seen. Please just look at this. Like, you have to look at this.
What is this? Hold on.
Like, I can't even, it says like started following. So I think it's like an actual like username
on, I
name is
can't
just
find
it's so
you. Hold on.
long. I'll send you a link if we need to. But anyways, so one thing I want to go back to, dude, isn't that crazy?
Is that even allowed?
I didn't even know that's. I'm like, how do you have so many like characters?
Oh my god. That doesn't seem
Right.
right.
Right? Like, is this like a hack?
I
Like
want you to
what?
follow me.
Dude, yeah, cats, please go give Gina a follow as well. Because fun fact, that drives another $1 actually to
To
the
our
giveaway.
giveaway.
What?
Guys,
So yeah,
deep
jump
into
on over.
yeah, guys, just so you know, so the deep conversations we're getting in tonight is our live podcast every Wednesday. So yes, we highlight products and we talk about them, we touch base on them, but it's mainly
Mhm.
talking about different topics. We love and encourage you guys to join us in the chat. We do giveaways, but this is once a week. We do this with you and just touch on different topics. This week is about parenting a little bit, since we have Mother's Day coming up. Anyone feel free to chime in, click that follow button. We got some awesome products. Feel free to stop us if you do have any questions about products.
Yeah, we'll dig into it.
Yeah, we got a bunch of awesome things going on. So guys, thank you for joining us. We were talking about gentle parenting and how I've had a rough week with my daughter like flopping on her face, cracking her tooth. That was always fun.
So wait, G, so you said something that I want to go back to if you don't mind me interrupting.
Go ahead.
So you were talking about going back to the buttery hand smack.
Yeah.
So and one thing, because you touched on the things that could be happening, right? One of the things I wanted to pose, and I don't know if this might be, I don't know. Curious what you think, is like maybe Logan was just like, because here's what I've noticed, at least with Tessa and Lena when she was younger, is like when they realize you're upset and they can't connect, even if they can connect the dots, like they feel shame or they feel like an embarrassment or something that's uncomfortable. And from what I've seen, sometimes they'll just laugh because of the discomfort. Like who can't relate to that, right? Like have you ever just tried to make a joke in an uncomfortable situation or laugh to just try and lighten the mood kind of a deal?
It could be. And she definitely knows when she's doing something wrong though. So that's the thing that gets me. And that's where I have to have the self-control. And Josh always says like, I'm worried that, you're going to snap one day because you seem like you don't handle it as well, which gets me upset, to be honest.
Been there, done that. Dude, I know exactly how that feels. We've talked about it.
Yeah, of course. And I think I've been very level-headed with, like, don't get me wrong, I think I've had moments where I've yelled Logan or like got really loud with her, but like never to the point where I would ever do anything or anything like that. But it's just the fact of sometimes I get my fuse is super short, a lot shorter than Josh's. He has more patience. He's also been through it before. So to me, it's like you've done this with a kid before. You maybe gotten smacked by your child before, so it's coming. And I know it's to be expected. I know it's going to happen. Past a certain age, it's not okay.
It's still something that's like,
it's just hurtful. It's hurtful, and I know she doesn't mean it in that manner, but when your 20-month-old child looks at you dead in your eyes, winds up, and goes pow to your face because they want to have their bowl. Maybe she didn't mean to hit me. Maybe she was going for the bowl or swatting my hand away. But she laughed at me afterwards too. So that was more of like, it wasn't even like she was like, for a second she might have been taken back, but she was like,
and even if she thought it was funny, like, so that was the other part, the part 2 to it that I was curious to get your thoughts on. Is like, it's an opportunity to be like, hey, here's the reality, because that's the only way we test the world and figure out the world. That's why like kids are scientists, basically. They're just like doing evaluations and studies all day. Like, if I do this, what happens? If I do this, it does that. If I do that, it does this. Like, they're learning through these like these types of approaches. So it's like, okay, cool. So by like, and I'm not saying I'm perfect at this or like have this, but this is what I talked to Maddie about too. She said like, it's good to be able to like let your kids see emotions in front of them, and obviously not get like crazy over the top where they're scared of you all the time. But if like genuinely wanted to cry in the sense of, and I don't know if this is right, but this is my thoughts, and I'm curious yours, is cry so she sees like, wow, my action had a consequence and it made mommy upset. And I don't like that. I don't feel good. I don't want to make mommy upset. And then from my experience, when I've done that, there will like usually like now Lena, especially she's older, Tessa's in a weird stage where she wants me to cry. Like I think I've said this before.
You told me this. Yeah, she wants you to cry. And don't get me wrong, like I got teary-eyed and it's just like I wasn't trying. I think I was just crying out of frustration and I didn't want to yell. So it's trying to like regulate for the moment and like
gotta go somewhere.
I was trying to like just calm down because I was really upset in that moment. My mom saw it. She's like, "What's wrong?" Like she didn't mean it. Like that. I'm like, I get that, but I'm still like super upset like right now. And then my mom goes to Logan's like, oh, why don't you give mommy a hug and tell her you didn't mean it? Which again, you don't force a kid to say sorry, like to a certain degree.
Right.
It's not teaching them what real sympathy is. But either way, she came over and ran over to me and did give me a hug, which made me feel a lot better. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
And she still does it. So now I'm very adamant about, and I try my best to at least, when she's having a tantrum, not to give her anything to calm her down. I'd rather her calm down on her own.
Feelings. Yeah.
Because say like she's crying and I'm like, hey, like let me give you, do you want to like a cheese? Like
and
if
she's always
order,
going to be seeking that. Yeah. It's
yes.
valid,
Or like you don't ever know when she's really upset or not.
Yeah.
I kind of just let her fall down to the ground, let her have her moment, do her thing. If it's something where I'm like, all right, you're carrying on, maybe you're just really hungry, here's your snack,
Yeah.
But
it's hard though, bro.
It is. It's very, very hard, like to figure out what's the balance. And like even this morning, like she was sitting on the floor or whatever, and I'm like, Josh, just ignore her. He's like, I know how to do this. I don't I'm not new to this. I'm like, I know what you're. I'm saying it out loud also for myself.
Maybe almost validating. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like
exactly.
So that I don't acknowledge it and like you don't acknowledge it. So like let's just not acknowledge it and like, whatever. And, one way they say when they're having a tantrum or whatever is that, like, if they see you playing, like, go over to their toys, start playing with them. Don't say anything to them. Let them see you doing something fun. Now their mindset changes. That was one thing I read today, too. But.
No, I mean, like, just, like, having that, like, gear shift. And I think that's important. And then also, like, being able to, like, understand like, hey, we're going to have emotions, understand there's going to be conflict resolution, like you said, self-regulating that. And that leads to, again, and this is why I go back to like EQ and emotional intelligence, however we get it, like whether you get books, whether you watch TED Talks, whether you consume this information in school, like however you do it, going through workshops, like things I've done. It's the idea is like, if we can create more emotionally intelligent people in general, and that's like, what's cool is like when you look at certain variables and they do certain types, like Brene Brown will talk about this, the value of it is like, that's what usually will separate some of the most successful, and not just success in business, but like successful people as far as like their quality of life, how they live, the what carries over into their children, their parenting. Because like going back to your point before, right? Like let's say, oh, well, your parents hit you, so you hit and you pass it forward. And it's like, hey, what did that cost you though when you were a young child that you don't realize like you could have been something else? And what was the tax? What was the price that you paid by having that happen? And I don't know, like maybe there's some kind of benefit we haven't discovered from like hitting our kids that like, I don't know, they haven't studied or supported and somehow they missed it in sociology and psychology. I don't know. You know what I mean? That's not my area of expertise.
I don't think there's any benefit to hitting your kid. And again, all the comments in that TikTok video that went viral on my page was just like, you're making sissies, you're doing this, how they're going to learn how to defend themselves in the real world. You're still teaching them confidence. You're still teaching them, self-worth. You're still teaching them, they just know how to regulate their emotions. They're going to know that, like, let me take a moment back. Instead of freaking out in that moment, let me try something else. Like, that is the point to gentle parenting. You're still, like I said, still setting boundaries. You're still doing all this. It's just, you hope, and I think that's one of my biggest anxieties too, is that I hope I'm not raising a spoiled child or someone who's going to be a jerk later on, and that's what I think annoyed me more is when she laughed in my face after hitting me, is that like one of my biggest fears, like, is she going to be like a jerk later on who laughs at like certain things? I don't want my kid to be a bully. I don't want her to be bullied. What someone wrote in the comments too? Multiple people, not just one, that gentle parenting turns
bullies.
No, turns kids into school. What kids do to like.
Oh, dude. I mean, listen, man. I don't know.
Well, what I said is like the ones that are doing that to schools right now are from the generation of being abused. The kids who are gentle parenting are too young to be doing that. So how would you even know? So,
and if you look at from my understanding of documentaries and information, it's like usually the parents didn't know, right? And why did the parents not know? Going back to your point before, they the child probably didn't feel they could communicate and connect with their parent, or vice versa, or both ways, where they couldn't express their feelings and emotions. They felt alone, they felt isolated, they wanted to lash out. But imagine if you felt truly deeply connected and you really at your core felt you had these loved ones behind you to support you. You probably wouldn't want to do those kinds of things. Like, you wouldn't want to put that out there in the world. Like, for example, I'll give you for example, someone commented on one of my TikTok videos. I was chopping wood, and like, dude, I haven't chopped wood in years. Like, and I'm not like by any means saying I'm like Paul Bunyan over here that has like great technique. I'm just like, yo, it's a great workout. And someone commented on it like, bro, no offense. And anytime it's bro, no offense is like obviously the next thing you're
You know it's gonna be offensive.
Yeah. And they're like, it looks like you've never chopped wood a day in your life. And I'm like, I mean, that's a fair statement. I said that like jokingly, because I'm like, dude, like it doesn't bother me. The thing I actually did to what it says to me, and I actually ended up DMing this person. I was like, hey, are you okay? Like, because I imagine for you to take time out of your day to say something like that, you're not happy, or you're not in a happy place. Because like, dude, I'm a pretty happy person. I don't comment stuff like that, period. And I would imagine you don't comment stuff like that, G. And like, people that I know that are happy and successful and thriving, they don't do things like that. So it's like, obviously you're in a place where like maybe it's an outreach for help or something like that. And that's what I think the difference of like, if parents had the ability to recognize that in their children, and they were like, hey, instead of like, I hit you and then you clam up and go to your room, or like, not even, it doesn't have to be abuse. It's just like, be present in their lives. Like, cause that's something, dude, even up until like maybe couple weeks ago, even now, I'm still working on like truly being present with the kids, like truly being there and like making eye contact, getting on their level. Like, dude, like, it's crazy. Like, Tessa fell asleep with me last night, like super easy in like 10-15 minutes for the first time, like almost ever. And like, it's like Lena and Tessa are asking for me now more. They want me to make them breakfast. It's like an interesting thing. I'm like, oh, it's like, because I don't know if this is true. They don't tell me this, but it's like I'm being more present. I'm allowing myself to connect with them and being real and like here, and not just on my phone, or I'm working, or like that's more important and that's the priority, or like working out. Like, don't get me wrong, I do all those things, but like, anyways, that's kind of my point.
I agree with you. And that's a little bit of a fear of mine too, is that Josh is with her all morning too. And it's like, I feel like she's going to go to be drawn to him. Like he's with her, like from like, I've been, I think getting up like this week, getting her and then like bringing her over to him, or bringing her over into the bed, or getting her dressed before the day starts. And then from there, I got to split, especially now that I have this new client for the Montauk Film Festival, and
shout out to them.
Yeah, so that's going to be awesome. The Offshore Art and Film Festival, guys, in Montauk this year. So I've been a lot on my plate, which Josh does too, but it always is something in the back of my mind is now that she's always going to be drawn to him. She's spending like 9 to 5 with him. And then like I'll take over. Even today, like I didn't get downstairs until like 5:30, and then I cooked dinner. And then I was like cleaning, doing dishes, like trying to help out that way with Josh, and making sure that got done. I organized and put some things away. And then I'm like, all right, you could go work. And then I'm spending time with her. But like, you know, it's a couple hours before she goes to bed. You know, she goes to bed at 7:30 now. So by the time I'm done with all that, we watched the Goofy movie. We laid there, we rolled around, we played.
Good one.
Yeah, I try to watch like a new like Disney movie. When I say new, like something she hasn't seen
new
before.
to her. Yeah,
new to her. So I picked Goofy movie, which was cute. She was entertained for a little bit. Then I realized, oh my God, it's 7:45. We've been watching this movie. Let's go upstairs. And then he comes out, does bedtime with us, and she goes to bed. So it's like, am I missing out? Is she gonna like feel I'm not present? Am I not present enough? Those are like things I constantly worry about. But at the same time, it's like I have to work. I have to get this done. I have to. Like we don't have a choice in this matter.
Right.
So, you know, it just sucks, and that's part of my anxiety too, of worrying that like, you know, I think that also leads to me feeling like. And I know Josh worries about it too, that like lately I've been distanced in the sense from him, in a sense, like I told him, remember we had that whole conversation where I just don't want to be touched.
Yeah.
Be alone. Women turn into this moment where they're like, leave me alone. I need time to myself. Last night I crawled in. Yeah, that's how I felt last night. I got into bed after our live stream, or was it you I did it, or I did one by myself. And I got into bed. I was so mentally exhausted. I crawled up into a ball, and he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. And he's like, can you like, you can be closer to me. Like he made a comment. I remember feeling like, oh, I'm not doing it on purpose. I feel like and I felt bad. I
Yeah,
felt really
it's nothing
bad.
against you, right? Like it's not.
But it's like it hit me like I should just be the initiative. My first reaction should go to lay with my husband when I'm laying in bed. But it was just like I was so mentally exhausted at that point that I was just like, I just want to lay here. I just want to lay here. I am so tired. I am so drawn. It's a lot. It's taxing trying to like feel like a good mom and everything.
Dude, and that's so here's the thing, man. Like, so first off, you are a good mom. Let's just start with that,
You know what
right?
I mean? Yeah, of
I know,
course.
I know exactly what you mean, but and that's my point. Is like you were talking about this before of like saying like, yeah, like you're awesome. You're like, I tried to be it. I'm like, you notice how you won't even say like, yeah, I am awesome. Like the idea of how our mind and then being able to feel the pressure and like you said, the expectations of like, oh, I should do this. I'm not saying what anyone should or shouldn't do, but the idea of like, hey, it's okay. And that's the cool, well, I'm gonna say it's a cool thing. It's like when we were at this, like some of these trainings, and I listened to different like child development and stuff. It's like the first 7 years are the most influential for our entire lives. So it's like, even though Logan is like developing, like you still have time, and that's what's awesome. And even though obviously you can't control all the variables around work, what you can say is like, hey, what is working, what's serving me, what's not, and pivot and adjust. And like, I'm not saying you have perfect control over all those things, but like, all right, when you do have that time, how can you make it count? Like that's what we talked about even with my mom. Like when, even though she's not around the corner, when she comes to visit and she gets to be with the girls, like, hey, let's go do fun things. So like when they think about time with you, it's like it's like always
Positive.
bringing up that exactly that component of it. But
Yeah, that's why I try to do like Josh been taking her on walks during the day, and last week or at least leading up to this week, I took a lot of days off and was taking her for walks and stuff like that. And she really like is starting to get into the whole walking thing now, and I'm super
yeah,
happy
walkie
about that.
tours.
But I miss it now. Now I'm like I'm trying to think this week like do I have time to take her for a walk? I have 5 meetings tomorrow, and in between the meetings, I'm doing a live stream. And then I have a pride meeting in the evening, and then I have to like do stuff for the film festival, and it's going to be a lot. So I don't even think I'm going to have time to take her for a walk. Friday possibly. I think my schedule's pretty clear besides my live, but I know there's just work to do. So like I always
Right.
want to take off a day, and then we have a birthday party on Saturday.
Saturday, and then
So
it's Mother's Day Sunday.
yeah, I'm just trying to spend time with her. Like you again, that feeling of not being forgotten or left behind. Even being a mom, that could happen. You want to make
For
sure
sure.
that your kid doesn't forget you, and you don't want to feel like you're leaving your husband out or your partner out, and not making them feel important or validated either. Which is I never want Josh to feel like that, but I know sometimes it's hard when I'm feeling shitty to make him feel good as well. So it's a vicious
Same.
cycle.
Yeah, dude. So I could just, what I will say is like, obviously I can't speak for anyone else, but I know like this is what I would say to Ashley, and this is what I try to say to her. So I'll say this to you just from like a person to a mother is like this, and even thinking about this to my own mom, and this has been a powerful thing to realize like these are the things I get to say to my mom and my dad because they're still around. And like if I'm gonna be transparent, like Umi and Upi to me were like parents. Like my mom and dad are my biological parents, but like Umi and Upi to me were like my like they've raised, like I spent so much time with them, like so much, and there's things I never got to say to them, and that was like really really hard, even like with Poppy, you know what I mean? That's why like with Nanny I get to talk to her, and I'm like I want to tell her things, and I tell her things because like I want her to know how important it was to me, like when she would make pancakes and we'd have breakfast together and like go hang out with them and all those things. So being able to say like it's not too late, and that Logan will tell you this when she's older and be able, even if she doesn't, like she obviously loves you, the best thing that happened to her. And then obviously Josh is extremely grateful for you, and like I know I'm extremely grateful for you, and maybe I don't say that enough too. So that's something I'm trying to work on, is expressing that gratitude and being able to say like, hey, it's like you have a massive impact, you like changed my life, especially with just Amazon, not even as a family, think about it just from a family member perspective, but just like the Amazon thing has absolutely changed my life, and all these other things we get to do. And then being able to see you guys and the things you get to work through, and having Logan in my life and John, like all those pieces, man, it's like huge. So anyways, that's my little spiel. I don't mean to get all like gooey, but just kind of like
No, I mean,
throw
I
that out there.
appreciate it. It's hard to say that I'm enough, and for anyone to say I'm enough, that's all
Mm.
we need is you. Um, And it's just hard to feel that validation within yourself, and it takes a lot. And sometimes it's hard, and you feel like you have to do it all or you want to do it all, but then at the same time, you're not doing enough. It's just feeling that validation within yourself and saying like, hey, I am doing enough. Sarah, how are you? Thank you for joining the conversation.
Hey, Sarah.
Hey.
Yeah. Sarah, you trying to get in on the giveaway?
Okay.
What's up?
Is there
I'm just
anyone?
plugging that,
Is
by the
there
way.
is there
So
anyone
we've got
here who wants to
Jerry.
give away?
We've got Jerry, Mish, and Katz, the follower I had on mine. That was like the ability.
Yeah, but I don't think are those people still here, guys? Are you still here?
I don't know. Let's find out. So that's actually, I was gonna say, like, dude, I'm getting pretty sleepy. I don't know about you. I was gonna see if we want to do the race and then start to bring it home.
Let's see here. Like, hi guys, are you here? Do you want
up?
to do the giveaway?
Yeah,
Like,
I'll get you got like a minute or two, because I know we got like a 30-second or a 15-second delay. So let's give it a minute. If you guys want to do the race, we have Sarah's following. Sarah's down for that race. That goes up to $4 right now. We got $4 on the line for the giveaway. Sarah, I'm going to put you in for the giveaway since you're following. And what I'll do is I'll screen share. And what I notice, I feel like when we screen share, more people start to hop in. Now, I'm going to give you a pro tip, Sarah. You don't have to do this, but if you want to, and if anyone that's listening, if you're following on my end and you want to get another $1 added to the pool, go follow on Gina's. And if you're on Gina's and you're following her and you want to go over here and follow on mine, that'll again add another pool. So even if you're already following on one, we'll give you another $1 credit for following on our other channel. So with that being said, yeah, we'll give it a minute. And Sarah, are you down to do the giveaway? Like, let's maybe start with that. I don't want to assume you're even into that. Maybe you just wanted to follow just because. You tell us, guys, because we're happy to. Like, I'm totally down to just go to bed if you guys don't want to do a race. If you don't want to win the Amazon gift card,
about another minute before we decide we're just going to bed. All of you.
Nighty news, and I just appreciate you guys hanging out. And like, I really appreciate your. I was gonna curse there. Your transparency, your vulnerability, like that's true courage, dude. Like that's like seriously like a very because like think about like this is what's so crazy. If I extrapolate this out, because I've had people like message me, and Johnny, owner of the gym here in town, has had people like send personal messages of like how it's literally like stopped them from making a decision that would have cost them their life. You know, like things like that are really deep and powerful and hard sometimes to talk about and bring to the surface. And like now I'm getting all emotional talking about it, but it's like for real. It's like for real. And that's like what I'm trying to acknowledge and allow myself to have. Like, hey, if I'm going to get a little bit of tears or get teary eyed, I'm going to let myself do that instead of fighting it back and like feeding into this like idea of like men can't cry, express emotions, or we have to be cold and rigid. And like, I'm not saying there's not a time and a place for that, but like if you can be vulnerable in that, that's like true power and courageousness. And then, Clarissa's here. Hey, Clarissa, you trying to race? Like literally no one's trying to race. Like no one's in on it. Okay. I don't know what to do here. Who's here? Clarissa, you're the only one that's like communicating with us in the chat. What's up? So this is what we're going to do. We need at least 2 people to do the race. So Clarissa, I'm sure you're in. So if anyone else is in, we will do the race. If not, we are going to go. It's our live timers at 1:18 and 30 seconds. So at 1:20, we're going to call it or we're going to do the race. That's what we have right now. And I was in a live the other day, but I literally fell asleep. Oh, it's all good. It's all good, Clarissa. No worries. I appreciate you just dropping by saying, hey, either way.
Hi, how you doing?
Yeah, but we're bringing it kind of home here, and we're deciding, hey, we're going to do this race or we're going to go to sleep, because we're going to race then sleep, or we're going to sleep. That's what's happening. And then we'll be back tomorrow, right, G? We're going to be back in the morning, get a Streamy Poos on, and then we'll be back in the evening, get another Streamy Poos for Cinco de Mayo.
Okay, guys. Thank you so much for being here. So we're not doing the race, or we are doing the race?
We got about 45 more seconds. And it says, and Clarissa's like, yeah, you can add me in, but it looks like we need at least one other person to race. So like, who else is trying to race here? If no one else is answering, that means like everybody that's here is not in on it. Oh, Lori's here. Lori, you trying to race?
Hi.
Let's see Clarissa and Lori are both in. All right, we got ourselves a race. Let's do this.
But take out the other people who didn't respond.
All right. So we got no Katz, no Sarah, no Mish, and no Jerry. Boom. And what we have right now, you guys got a 50-50 shot at, let's see, it's a $4 gift card. Woo woo. So let's get it going. Good. We're doing good. It's a little late. We're getting a little sleepy, but we wanted to make sure we have an awesome time with you guys. And so it's Lori versus, did I say Larissa? No, Clarissa. Okay. I was like, did I just put in Larissa and leave out the C? What am I doing? All right. So ready? It's go time. Let's race, y'all. This is the 50-50. So what we're doing is this is a $4 Amazon gift card. I'm going to, again, put in my email for you guys. And the winner is just going to email me at lifeofafighter@gmail.com. Everybody else, you guys can go to lifestyleoffitness.com, take your free body type quiz, and everybody from now until June 25th is going to get, I'm basically going to make it like July 1st, but like till June 25th is kind of the cutoff date I set, that we're going to start charging again for this course. It's going to be $1,000 a month for our programming and all the stuff we're going to get access to when you sign up for this. So just a heads up. That's my spiel. I'm going to stop ranting at that point.
It's okay. Hi, Lori. How you
Yeah,
doing?
Lori.
Good. You know, same-ish, different day.
Yeah, we got some good stuff in the carousel, right, Lori? Again, Mother's Day is coming up, so happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. We just went into like a whole thing around all this good stuff.
You missed it.
And I'm excited. Oh, Clarissa pulls it out. Clarissa again for the win. Let's go. Congratulations, Clarissa. So you know what's up, Clarissa. So yeah, right, exactly, Clarissa. Yes, I'll email. Perfect. All right. So yeah, once you send me that email, I'll send you the gift card, and that's pretty much going to do it, y'all. And then I'm excited because we don't have any guests lined up for May and June, but now we're going to start to reach out. I have a bunch of people that said they want to come on and join us. And now we're just going to figure out the dates. I'm going to be traveling a lot. Dude, I was just doing the math. I travel to 5 states in the next like 6 weeks.
That sounds interesting. How's your wife taking that?
Or maybe it's like 8 weeks. And that's what we were talking about it yesterday. That's what I'm trying to plan. I'm coming up to New York, by the way. Did I tell you this?
Yes, by yourself, right?
Right, exactly. So I'm coming up. I have a fight tournament, a national tournament or like a promotion in Delaware the 18th. So I'm going to come up that like Tuesday because we fly in right before that. So I'm probably going to come up that Monday or Tuesday, come up for 4 days, then go over to Delaware, then take care of the fight, stay overnight, and then come back Sunday and then be home. And then like that Wednesday, I fly back out to Vegas. And then we're like 2 weeks before that, we're going to be in California. So it's like lots of traveling. I don't want to have Ashley be alone for too long. So yeah.
I was just going to say, you're going to kick her butt.
Yeah, so like, and she's coming up to New York for that, so at least she'll have some support and be able to see you and see some of the other family. But to your point, I believe Lori was saying that, right, Lori? Yeah, so I don't fight anymore. I just coach. I have fighters that are fighting. Now I'm focused on just being the best coach possible and just impacting lives from that standpoint. But bam.
Doing things, big things, big things.
Yeah. No, I live in North Carolina now, Lori. And then boom, Clarissa just emailed. So let me pull that up. And yeah, y'all.
Okay, with that being said, I think we're going to close it out for tonight. Guys, thank you so much for being here. You are absolutely amazing. We are going to check it out and kind of just keep it calm for the night. And we will see you tomorrow morning at 11:30 a.m. And we'll be live tomorrow night. Mike, what time are we doing the live tomorrow night?
Down with 8:30.
Yeah, that works for me. All right, guys. Glad I caught you too, Lori. Thank you for joining us tonight. Guys, any questions, comments, concerns, let us know. Click that follow button so you get notified when we go live. And have a good night, y'all.
Night. And then Clarissa, I got your email. I got you.
Yes. Keep rocking it. Thank you, Lori. Guys, have a good night. Bye.
Bye.